Hello YouTube vinyl community, it's Jacob coming to you for a second video. Today I'm going to be working on a late entry for the Vinyl Tag 2021 Tales from the Crate edition. I know most people make this video in January, but I've seen some responses are still trickling in, so I thought I'd take a shot at it. But noticing a lot of people apologizing for their videos running too long, whatever that may mean. I hope these people aren't beating themselves up too much. So I got a little itch here. I've made my first video, and I was exploring the analytics features in the YouTube Studio, and what I've learned is that during the first 30 seconds of my video, over half of the viewers stopped watching. So it really wouldn't have mattered how long my video ran. The people that didn't want to see it, I didn't force their hand, and they were able to exercise their free will and move on to something else. I think it's worth noting that your viewership, the number of views that you see attached to the front of your channel, the thumbnail, it's not really a fair representation of how much time people are spending on watching your content. So if you're worried about causing people to neglect their loved ones or their important duties to their family or their workplace, it's probably an overblown concern. However, with that being said, I think there's something to say about there being an optimal running time, or sort of a sweet spot in terms of length for a video, and I think a ballpark of around 10 minutes is, give or take, is a pretty good amount of time for getting your content across without trying the patience of your viewers. And keeping that in mind, I thought what I'd do with this vinyl tag, rather than answer every question in one lengthy video, that I would break the tag up into a series, and I think that would be a good approach. Particularly for myself, I have a tendency to be long-winded. Well, let's get started here. Question number one. Probably familiar with these questions by now if you've watched as many of the vinyl tag videos as I have. But the first question is to show a vinyl or a record discovery from 2020, and so I've got one for you. It's this right here. Now this is a record I've had for several years. I got it at a Half Price Books clearance sale, and on that day of that sale, I brought boxes of records home, and one thing that happens quite often when you buy a lot of records at once, you don't have the time to digest everything, and you still have the urge to go out and get new records after that. You don't wait until you've listened to everything that you have. So this record was just sitting neglected until the coronavirus lockdown happened, and in those initial days of fear. And I did not go out and purchase any records. It was impossible to go to a physical store for a while. So what I did was I went and dug out some records that I had sitting around that I hadn't heard before, and this is one of them, and it was quite a delightful surprise. Now it says here on this record, this gentleman's name was Oscar Aleman, and I did not know how to pronounce his name. I noticed there was the mark there, the accent mark above the A. Otherwise, I thought that his name would have been pronounced Aleman. But Oscar Aleman was an Argentine guitarist. Now, and I looked him up on YouTube to find. And I found a documentary where other Argentines were saying his name, and I know that I did not pronounce his name with the proper accent, but I think I got pretty close. And that's one little hack. If you have an artist with a name you're not familiar with, you can find video footage on YouTube of people saying that artist's name. So even if you get the name wrong a little bit, you're close enough not to disrespect the performer and to embarrass yourself by a public display of ignorance. Well, as it says here, that Oscar was a swing guitar legend. Well, I had never heard of him before listening to this, and I'm glad I found it. These recordings were made between 1938, 1945 in Paris, Copenhagen, and Buenos Aires. So Oscar Aleman was a contemporary of Django Reinhardt. Knew him in Paris, France. I read on Wikipedia that Django would invite Oscar over to his gypsy caravan and the wagon, and they would have jam sessions together. And there's an interesting note on the back here at the liner notes, partially obscured by an older price tag. There's a quote here by the jazz journalist Leonard Feather. It says, Aleman could outswing Reinhardt and was a far superior jazz man. Now that's quite a bold statement, and I don't believe in blindly putting your trust in the experts. I don't think any of us need to be taking marching orders from Leonard Feather. If you're interested though in finding out if Aleman could outswing Django Reinhardt, you could search out some of his music. I think you'll enjoy it. This particular collection was released by Rambler Records out of San Francisco, and I thought they did a good job of engineering here. The sound quality for these older recordings is very good. Nice, crisp, vibrant musical tones come out of the speakers. So I enjoyed discovering this in 2020. Probably picked it up around 2015 or 16, but better late than never. Let's see what else we have here. Question number 2: quarantine buy. Now, prior to the coronavirus lockdown, I had been listening to a lot of Buckwheat Zydeco in the car, driving around town or during my commute to work, and it's one of the great joys in life, I think, is to listen to CDs in the car. I was talking to a coworker recently. Told me this was shocking news. I was horror struck. Told me he purchased a car that did not have a CD player. It's the automakers are phasing them out, and I think that's a huge mistake. When I hear music, it could be a song that I know and love coming off of the FM radio. The sound quality is so poor. sounds like someone's thrown a blanket or a comforter, a heavy beach towel over my speakers and muffled the sound. Even the sort of mediocre speakers I have in my car. I mean, it's nothing too fancy, but certainly sounds better than what's getting played over the FM radio waves. I hear a song I love, and I can't listen to it on the FM. And so the CDs, as imperfect as they are, are really a great thing for listening to in the car. I do hope to just put that thought out to the universe that maybe the auto manufacturers should rethink this, and let the people stream and listen to the Sirius XM satellite radio, but don't take the CD away from us, at least not yet. So anyway, when quarantine came in and was doing the work from home, there was no more commuting, and I still had my Buckwheat Zydeco CDs, but I realized I did not have any Buckwheat Zydeco records. I had been kind of poking around the jazz and the Cajun and the country and the rock and the R&B sections, whatever, know where they're going to put Buckwheat Zydeco records, world music, but folk. But I never stumble across one in this thing that's often called the Wild, so when it came time to make my first quarantine buy, I went with one that I enjoy quite immensely. Now, you can't judge this record by its cover. The cover is absolutely terrible, but I had a lot of good times playing this CD, and I've had some good times playing this LP record now. This is the On a Night Like This. The title track is a Bob Dylan cover, but the real treat on this record is the cover of the Dave Alvin song Marie Marie. It's Dave Alvin likes to joke about it being the only Zydeco Cajun classic ever written in Downey, California. If you haven't heard it, I'd say check it out. It's a great romp. You're going to have a good time. Silly lyrics, not a lot of depth to it, but just a great time. Give your ears something fun to do. Now this was a record put out on Island, 1987. I'd say hands down the best release that Island put out in 1987. Can't go wrong with this one. It's a real classic. Terrible cover, but a great listening pleasure. Let's see. Question 3. 2021 want. I said there are always things I look for, but I try to be careful about wanting, or being specific about wants. The hobby aspect or the collecting aspect of the acquiring of records, separate from the listening. It can be a dangerous thing for your mind. It's easy to get greedy or be consumed by superfluous desires, and so I try to hold that demon at bay by just not entertaining it. Sometimes I'll get a little itch to pick something up, and I'll do that. But I don't want to walk around itchy or with a license to itch. I think that's a recipe for unhappiness. I do have more records than I have time to enjoy, so it just seems silly to get carried away with with a want list. I'm just keep my eyes open, and I like to be surprised by what I find at the record store. I'll close out this video, or the final question here I'll respond to, the box set. I do love box sets. As a budget record collector, the value is often unparalleled, and usually with a box set, you don't have to worry about the condition of the records nearly as much. They usually don't get played as much as the single albums, and for the secondhand market, that's great. Usually this covers had some better days, but the records are all in good near mint VG plus, high VG plus condition. This is the complete Lionel Hampton, this big band outfit from 37 to 41 on Victor Bluebird. I enjoy these quite a bit. I'd say Lionel Hampton is it's my favorite big band orchestra. I like some Count Basie with Jimmy Rushing, Benny Goodman, plenty of others, but I think Lionel Hampton's my favorite. He's got some nice solid jazz sensibilities without doesn't get as mushy as Glenn Miller or Guy Lombardo could get. A little too syrupy sweet at times with the big band music, and Lionel Hampton did a pretty good job of making the music easily accessible without being easy listening. Good stuff. I enjoy the vibraphones. Lionel Hampton's small group work later in his career also wonderful. This was a nice chapter in his musical legacy. I enjoy this collection. That's why I chose it as my box set to share. If you see it out there, it's something I'd recommend to you. All right. So we'll pause there on the list. I would like to close with a joke for you. I got my trusty joke box. Now, I did, this box is made out of metal. It's rusting a bit, and some of the, I had a water bottle. There's a condensation or a little spill, and got some rust spots now on my plastic folding table. But anyway, won't hold it against my joke box. That was a mess of my own making. So let's see what joke we have today. Love of money may be the root of all evil, but liking Eddie Money just means that your musical taste is bad. Well, that is so true. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you made it till the end, thank you. I appreciate that. If any, I also appreciate the people who didn't make it to the end. I won't hold it against anything against them personally. I welcome them back to try my channel again at any time, and we'll see you next time.